Hello, peeps. It's the Hillbilly Halfwit. How are you all today? And we're doing a sit-down one today. As you know, I love doing these things, but sometimes I just haven't got the time to get all the data together. So we've managed to get a bit of a hodgepodge of things today about what's happening in Wales with our old mate, Mr. Drakford. And we got a bit about how much the asylum seekers are getting for money in Wales, how much they're spaffing up the wall, and a bit about David Lammy and how much he's spent on private planes. Nearly £1 million since in the last 100 days. So there we are. So let's get going. Oh, but before we go, please click down there, subscribe, and press that little button there that says to get continual updates, because some people say they're not getting the updates and whatever. So it'd be very nice. It doesn't cost you anything and it'll help me out. Okay? The content in this video is intended for comedic purposes only. The views expressed in this video are not to be taken as factual information or a representation of my personal beliefs. I am critically reviewing the info on videos I show as examples. Now, this is our First Minister, our great communist leader. First Minister says Powys Health Board waiting list plans are not satisfactory. Well, we could have told you that, good girl. You're spaffing billions up the wall on a non-existent climate emergency, and you're spaffing it away while our council tax is going up through the effing roof. I've got a video coming on you as well, so be very careful about all that money that you stopped on that health board. Now, here he is, the old cock of the north. What a canker he is. This bloke has destroyed Wales, in my opinion. He's a perfect example of a civil servant who would work really, really well in communist China. Because that is what he is. He's a communist who, during lockdown, managed to love the power over people. He's a bullied person who... once he's got power, he loves it. He couldn't even keep away, so he had to come back. Horrible bastard. We have too many hospitals and too many beds in Wales. That's from him. What can I say? I cannot believe this guy's in charge of the finances. I cannot. But here's a little snippet nobody will talk about. Now, this was put up on Facebook a while back. I have to say this allegedly, but this is somebody asked a question of, does he own some land by a hospital? Okay, I have a question for you. Please only answer with facts and proof regarding the planned new hospital in South Wales and who actually owns the land. So it's between Whitland and St. Clears, apparently. And Susan Evans says, I thought they had announced that it will not go ahead now as there's no money. There were two sites, one owned by Carmarthenshire County Council in Whitland and the other near St. Clears, apparently owned by the Drakford brothers, allegedly. So, Matey Boy and his brother own a parcel of land that they want to build a hospital on. And he's saying we have too many hospitals. What do you think about that? Wonder if that is true or not. I'm not sure. It's all allegedly, of course, but I do not trust that guy. You know what commies are like? So there we are. I thought they had announced that they will not go ahead now as no money. There were two sites, one owned by Carmarthenshire County Council in Whitland, and the other near St. Clears, apparently owned by the Drakeford brothers. Now, if anybody knows anything about that, please write it in the comments. Now, this is somebody who was really, really poor, asked for a request for some period stuff for a kid, a Welsh person, and this is what they got back. In these circumstances, we have to refer the Welsh Government guidance regarding priority groups for the period dignity programme. So they refused her to have it. And this is the priority groups in the period dignity programme in Wales. People in black, Asian and minority ethnic communities. Well, I didn't realise they were always skint. People who are gypsies, Roma or travellers, same here. Didn't realise they were always skint. Asylum seekers and refugees, didn't realise they were always skint. Disabled people, didn't realise they were always skint. Bacon-less tomato people, what's the point of giving it to them? Because they don't really have any organs to use it for. People in women's refuge, fair enough. People in supported living, fair enough. Homeless people, fair enough. But the top half of that, besides the bottom three, I don't think need to have that, in my opinion. So there's the priority groups. Why would you have a priority for people in black, Asian and minority ethnic communities if they're already earning a tidy wage in a job? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Right, here's one of the people. So somebody on Facebook, I forget what I was following on this. How are migrants being given £1,000 a month is nearly the same as my mum's pension. So somebody's replied here, Muslim refugee living in Wales complains about their conditions. We are given £1,000 every month, but that isn't enough. So if you've been working all your life in Wales and got your pension, he's getting, or they are getting more than you per month. How on earth is that right? And I'll be classed as a right-winger for saying the truth. I wonder why Wales is in the shithole. Inside the priority NHS services for migrants, asylum seekers receiving preferential medical treatment despite increasing waiting times for Britons. We all know it's happening. I saw a piece the other day where somebody had come in on a boat, had their operation they wanted, and then buggered off back home. This is in Wales. Last month, paramedics were forced to waste an incredible 25,000 hours waiting outside hospitals to hand patients over. So those people who are very, very skilled at what they do are sitting outside a hospital for 25,000 hours in Wales last month. In a month. Labour cut £17 million from maths support programme on same day as it handed 17 million to UNRWA, which, if you don't know what that is a Gaza agency in Palestine. What the fuck is going on? What on earth is going on in the UK? Here he is again. Now, perhaps you'll be surprised at this, but I don't know. Now, I am a person who's lived in Wales all my life, all my family. One half of the generations come from up Scotland years and years ago, and great-great-great-grandparents. And the other half has been here for millennia. And I do not like the way the Welsh government are turned into nationalist socialists and how they are treating all other UK citizens different to Welsh people. Because I would not like that if I went over to Scotland or England. If I bought a property there, if I had the money, if I sold up here, I would not expect to be charged extra. Because in my opinion, the UK is one bunch of group of people, group of nations that help each other out. Of course, we play each other in rugby and things, but when push comes to shove, you help each other out in wars and things. But this lot don't seem to. They rather charge people extra. I don't like it. I can't stand this. Basically, they've put a 7 million increase in the higher rate of land transaction tax. So if you have a second home, or say you were a farmer wanting to rent out your home for extra income, you'll be paying more council tax. So off the top of my head, I think it's £6,000 extra per year if you have a second home. So it's roughly about 2,000 to 3,000 normally. So it'll be roughly £9,000 per year. And then if you want to rent it out to people, you have to have a special sprinkler system in there, and that will cost you about 10,000 as well. So it's just killing people's opportunity to make a living at anything. And don't trust this prick, for Christ's sake. He's a bad un. He's a wrong un. There you are. You can read it for yourself. I think it's horrible how you pick on people that you don't even know just because they come from a different part of the country. I think it's horrible. That is not the way to teach your people how to get on with other countries, indeed. So this is how much Carmarthen council tax is going up. I did a video a while back and it was 13% in Powys. It's been dropped back to 10%. Oh, great. So 10% is rising to pay for all that crap we saw earlier. There we are. The normal person. That was in the 17th of January 2025. And this is happening at the moment. You'll see it on the news. 4 million households face council tax rising up to 5 times the legal limit from April as bankrupt local authorities look to exploit loopholes to plug black holes in their books. So what is happening, if you don't know, there's a loophole in councils. If the councils are bankrupt, they can automatically rise your council tax without having to go to the government. That's what they're doing. So they're sending themselves bankrupt so they can hike the council tax. And it's happening everywhere. It's not far off where we are. And there's lots of corruption going on. Lots of corruption in the councils where I live. They've found huge mass millions missing. And I don't know if anybody's going to get had for it. So you can read that. In November, it was revealed the UK's bill for asylum seekers had hit a record 5.4 billion. So that's 5,400 million to pay for processing, accommodating and financially supporting the backlog of asylum seekers. About 35,000 migrants were living in hotels, costing the taxpayer more than £4 million a day. Chris Phillip, the Shadow Home Secretary, said illegal immigrants crossing the Channel are disrespecting our laws and should not be getting free clothes and accommodation in hotels, costing billions a year. These illegal immigrants do not need to cross the Channel. France is safe and has a perfectly good asylum system. Labour scrapped the Rwanda removals deterrent before it even started, and numbers of illegal immigrants crossing the sub-channel have gone up by 30%. I personally think that Rwanda bill was a load of nuts. I don't think that was made to work. It was made by the civil service so it wouldn't work. And then they could pull it away. That's what I think. So here we are, David Lammy. Hey, remember that video I did? Goodbye. Lammy spends nearly £1 million on private jet flights since the election. So he's there preaching at us about the climate. Luxury lover Lammy racks up sky-high flights costs. And that's the same as Miliband. He'd done 15,000 air miles a year because his family, most of them, live in America. And his brother. Since taking office, David Lammy has spent an eye-watering $916,177 on flights, jetting about the globe at the taxpayer's expense. His most extravagant escape was a costly jaunt to India and Laos, which set the taxpayer back a gobsmacking $266,456. Meanwhile, Lammy claims climate change is one of the biggest dangers facing the world. Wake up, people. This is something I thought I'd put in there. Now, this is very, very interesting. New Ukrainian President Zelensky says Ukraine has only received 75 billion of 177 billion in aid that was allegedly sent from the United States. And he says, I don't know where all this money is. We never received it. So at the bottom, but when they say that Ukraine during the war received 200 billion to support the army. So there's something dodgy going on here. There is something serious dodgy going on here. 75 million and 177 million. There's 100 billion missing. 100 billion. And we're giving 100 billion to the as well. Do you remember that? Our government pledged 100 billion for the next 100 years. What's going on? That seems a bit weird to me. So that's the one today. A bit of a hodgepodge of different things that I got in my head and whatever. Like I said, I've been at some other things this last week, and you've got to be on top of your game when you're doing this sort of thing, so you don't try and make a mistake. So thank you all for watching. I know YouTube got a bit of a downer on me at the moment, but never mind. As long as you could see it and click subscribe and share, you help me out. Okay, all the best. Hillbilly Halfwit.